Happy New Year. I hope 2026 has been good to you so far, especially coming off of that Cancer full moon energy. Well, next up, we have a Venus star point on January 6th. The Venus star point is happening at 16 degrees of Capricorn in your chart. And this Venus star point has been unfolding over the past 4 years. So let me explain. At this time, Venus is direct. And when Venus is direct, conjunct the sun, it's called a full Venus. Similar to a full moon, only it's a full Venus. And she is full from the energies that were initiated the last time she was in this area of your chart. And that was 4 years ago, January 2022, when retrograde Venus in Capricorn was conjunct the sun at 18 degrees of Capricorn. And so that was actually the new Venus energetic starting point, just like with a new moon. The Venus star point cycles unfold in 4 and 8 year time spans. So back in January 2022, when she was retrograde conjunct the sun, that was a new Venus. Now 4 years later, she is a full Venus, and this is where you look at what has developed, grown, and come to fruition for you at 16 to 18 degrees of Capricorn in your chart related to this Venus in Capricorn themes. So Venus in Capricorn is observant, has personal integrity. She moves slowly but purposefully. She's dedicated to what she wants. She doesn't expect quick payoffs, but she will work for what she wants. And obviously that's because it's in alignment with what she values. So Venus conjunct the sun brings alive what you've been working for since 2022 and what has manifested here in your chart. What is presenting itself as being important, worthwhile, satisfying. Venus in Capricorn will stay the course, put in the work, put in the effort for long-term benefit. Now, not only is Venus conjunct the sun, Mars is here too. Okay, so the story gets a little bit more exciting. So now we have both Venus and Mars working with the sun in Capricorn. Venus and Mars together, they're going to journey together as well going forward for a little bit. They'll be together here in Capricorn. That is feminine and masculine coming together, a union, internal union, as well as external unions. That is being on the same page with your feminine desires and your masculine assertiveness. That is also supported by the sun bringing in new life, new energy, new consciousness and awareness to what you're putting effort and time into. This particular Venus star point has a lot of energy. It's ambitious, ready to move forward, ready to start a new chapter in the Venus energies of what you value, what you want, what you create. Of course, this relates to career, relationships, personal relationships, money, finances, those next level goals that you have. All of that is in the mix here around this full Venus starting point that, I shouldn't say starting point, I'm sorry, star point that started 4 years ago. You might look at how far you've come. You might look at what's changed in your life, in these Capricorn areas of your life. You might be realizing you have reached a pinnacle of something, and now you are changing course. You are changing direction into something else or going in a new way that matters to you more. So 16 to 18 degrees of Capricorn is where you've been intentionally working away on something. Very dedicated, diligent, ready for it to manifest into something tangible, solid, clear. And you might have some new levels of awareness with this Venus star point around, again, those next level goals. What is working, what's not, what you earn along the way that matters to you. Venus in Capricorn with this Mars and the Sun here has more power, more drive, more force. So frankly, this is a beautiful way to start the new year because it could give you some empowering motivation around what matters to you at 16 to 18 degrees of Capricorn in your chart. Maybe there are some new business endeavors, projects, some career things that you really want to invest in right now. Maybe there is a sense of greater self-assurance and self-confidence in your work, in your mastery, what you've invested in, and you're seeing it pay off. Capricorn works hard and will achieve, which means it also earns the rewards that come with that hard work. And so perhaps there's some things coming about right now that when you put it into this timeline here of 4 years ago, you're seeing, oh yes, that's when this actually started. That's when this began as something I was going to work towards and figure out along the way. And with Mars here, we have more energy for it. We have more drive. And so it could even feel like whatever you're focused on launching, on creating, on getting going, the energy is just there for it. It's just moving forward, ready or not, because here is Mars ready to take it into a new place, move it along further, help you reach that next level goal. This also shows up in relationships. As we know, that's what Venus is. She's related to our self-worth and our self-value, and then the people we attract and magnetize in who are at that same frequency. And so when she's conjunct the Sun, it brings her energy to life more. But when she's conjunct Mars, it also brings in, again, the masculine energy working with the feminine energy. So maybe there's some new work partnerships here. Maybe there's some new things where you're on the same page with someone. And, one of you brings certain strengths to the table and someone else brings other strengths. Like there can be a very beautiful, cohesive energy. When you're on the same page, you're moving in the same direction, you have the same purpose, goals. So this can be great for work endeavors. Now, Capricorn likes to be in charge, so you might have to figure out who's the boss and who's the co-boss, or who's the manager, in charge of this, and then who's the manager in charge of that. Specify the roles, specify who does what. But this can be great for looking at where are we on the same page and what do we want to move towards next. There also can be in the realms of personal relationships. This is where you can see, okay, is this a person that I can have a long-term connection with? And that's because Capricorn thinks about the long term. So this is long-term endeavors, long-term connections, long-term relationships. Those might be coming up for review. You might realize, yes, we're on the same page, we're strong, we're solid, we're good. Or you could see with this Venus star point that maybe this has served its time and there's things that aren't made for long-term ongoing connection. That's part of a full Venus, because just like a full moon, the full Venus is going to show you what needs to change, where new growth is possible, but also wants to bring you into your heart and determine, how much do I love this? How much do I want this? And that could bring about some big realizations too. So relationships are always highlighted whenever we have a Venus star point. And in Capricorn, you assess where you're on the same page with someone for the long term. There's maturity here. There's a sense of what you've earned, what you've lived through and experienced that has shaped your worldview, how you show up together, if you're on the same page, if this is a strong connection or not. Now, this is, as I mentioned, our first Venus star point of the year. Our second one is going to be in, I believe it's October, when we have our Venus retrograde in Scorpio and Libra. And that's where Venus will be retrograde conjunct the sun, and that will be a new Venus. Okay, so that's where she's going to start a new cycle later on in the year. So we'll talk about that when it gets closer. But that'll be happening in a different area of your chart. Okay, so know that this is a full Venus star point. Something is coming to fruition that you've worked for, you've learned from it, you've invested in it, and it could be showing you the new choices you're ready to make, the new direction you're ready to go. I feel like this is powerful manifestation energy, especially in Capricorn and Earth sign. So there could be some beautiful new manifestations that are happening for you here in January that are finally coming through and finally showing up. So I do discuss this more, this particular Venus star point and the second Venus star point in my 2026 Soul Growth Astrology program, which is all the major astrology of this year, including the Mercury retrogrades, Jupiter moving into Leo, the 4 eclipses in 4 different astrology signs and 4 different elements. So if you want a heads up on what is unfolding for you in your chart, check out this program and use coupon code NEW to get the whole thing for $44. So I do this for you every year because so many people enjoy it and look forward to it, especially mapping out their year ahead. So I hope that calls to you as a supportive resource. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back with another video here as we move through January, and look forward to what we are going to experience here in a whole new year.